Today we're going to talk about a very sensitive but important topic, and that is life insurance. And a common question that I get is, do stay-at-home moms need life insurance? And the answer is yes. Absolutely yes. This hits home for me personally. My mom passed away at the age of 49, and because of this, my dad didn't have life insurance. And because of this, my dad struggled so much financially, and he's still struggling financially almost 20 years later. And he's since had to take on a second mortgage on the house, all of that. Now, disclaimer, my mom did make money. She ran an in-home daycare, but even if she didn't, it still would have put him at a huge financial distress because of losing my mom. Now, when you are in grief and you have lost somebody, a spouse, a parent, whatever it may be, you want to be able to mourn that person. You want to be able to, take care of your own emotional health, take care of your kids, take care of everything. You don't want to have to worry about finances on top of that. How are we going to pay our mortgage? Who's going to watch the kids? All of that. Think of a stay-at-home mom. And a stay-at-home mom is essentially doing childcare. Like, that's not all they do. But if, say, for instance, I pass away and I didn't have this business or anything like that, but I was just a stay-at-home mom, my husband would then have to pay for childcare. I also cook all the meals, do all the grocery shopping. He'd have to figure out how to do all that, potentially hire someone to do that. Transportation. I take Peyton to all the doctor's appointments, to all the activities and extracurricular activities that she's going to have growing up and different things like that. And he would then have to hire a nanny or whatever to do all of those things so that he could continue bringing in a salary to pay our mortgage. Now, if you have life insurance, then that is going to help to offset the cost. If you have a $500,000 policy, $1 million policy, whatever it is, that's going to help to alleviate that stress. When you lose someone, and like I said, I know this personally, I've had a lot of loss in my life, but for instance, with my dad, when my mom passed away, it was like so much stress all around of how am I going to pay the bills now? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do everything? And being able to have that financial support of, hey, you know what? Even if I need to take off a month to mourn, I can do that. I can afford to do that. Even if I have to pay someone to come in and help me figure out, get my bills organized, get everything organized, pay for childcare, all of that, you're able to do that. So that is one thing that life insurance provides. A common question that I get is, what if the spouse has life insurance, like the husband? So my husband, Jamie, say he has life insurance, but I don't. Do I still need a policy on me? Absolutely, because that policy only covers him. That only covers him if he passes away. It doesn't cover if I pass away. So you want to make sure that it's covering for you as well. And also, not to mention funeral costs as well. Funeral costs are so expensive, and you don't want to have to rely on like a GoFundMe or whatever it may be, but being able to cover that cost as well and not have to worry about the financial burden. I remember when we were picking out caskets and stuff for my mom, I was like, holy cow, these are expensive. And that was 20 years ago. So that is a whole other cost as well. But back to the reining it back in. If your spouse has life insurance but you don't, you still need your own policy to cover that. And then also maybe you want to take some of that money and put it away for your kids. So that way your kids can have a nest egg that you've left them. Maybe help with college or their first car or something like that. But have that financial security that you're able to provide them with some of that life insurance money as well. I have a full article down below in the description box as well. So definitely check out the article, and I'll have all the resources and everything and even more data and FAQs and all of that in the article. So check it out. It'll be linked in the description. I want to do a quick breakdown of, just for example, what it could quote unquote cost to replace someone that is a stay-at-home mom. And like I said, irreplaceable, all of that. But just to give numbers, because a lot of us are numbers people. So childcare costs, depending on where you live, depending on how many kids you have, all of that, that can cost about, let's say, $2,000 a month. Next, household keep. So paying someone to help clean the house, keep the house running, all of that. That can cost between $100 and $300 a week. Next would be meal shopping, meal planning, grocery shopping, all of that. That would cost about $200 to $500 a week. Next is transportation. So who's driving them all around? We got to factor in transportation. And then also emotional support, to qualify who's there, who's going to remember the birthday parties, the appointments, all of that. That's all part of it too. So when you're adding up all of these things, it can easily cost $50,000 a year, $50K a year. So that's going to add up quick when you have just lost your spouse and you're having to figure out how to do this. So moms, definitely get life insurance for yourself. Now, how much does life insurance cost? I have some different companies down below in the description box that I've personally vetted. So I'm going to have those links for you. And I'm also going to show you on screen what it takes to sign up. You can get started in less than 5 minutes. And you don't need a medical exam or anything like that, which is so amazing. So say you're a healthy woman in her 30s and you want to get a life insurance policy on yourself. You can get a $500,000 policy for $20 to $30 a month. That is so affordable, $20 to $30 a month for a $500,000 policy. That's absolutely insane. Or if you're 35, then you can get, and you're a healthy woman, then you can get a policy for about $30 to $50 a month, depending on the amount that you want, depending on, how much you weigh, all that stuff. So that's all a factor in it. And now I'm going to show you on screen what it's going to look like and how quickly you can get this quote. Here we are on Lantern, and I'll have a link for them down below in the description box. So I want to show you how quick you can get a quote with Lantern. So first, we're just going to fill out this super quick form. So gender is female. Birthday is 04/01/1995. Height, let's say 5'5". Pounds, let's say 125. Zip code, let's do 33406. I currently use nicotine. No, I don't use nicotine, so I'm not going to check that, and then hit continue. So here it's going to show the different quotes. So this right here is $32 a month, estimated monthly price, years of coverage, 30-year policy. So this is a 30-year policy. Coverage amount is $500,000. So we can do a 10-year, we can do 15, 20, 25, 30-year coverage. And so I like the 30-year coverage. And then we can also move the scale to see how much we want. So if we did a $1.5 million policy, so for example, God forbid I pass away, then my husband and my family would get $1.5 million. And then I could do a $1 million policy. $1 million policy would be $57 right there. So let's say we're going to do that. So $1 million policy, 30-year policy. Now, if we only did a 10-year policy, that'd just be $32 a month, which is awesome. So let's say $30-year policy. We're going to hit continue. And then you're just going to answer these questions. So your full legal name, your phone number, your address, your annual income, and then here's your stats as well. And then you're going to hit continue, and it's going to go through the process for you. It's that easy and that simple. Like literally just a couple minutes and you have your quote and you're getting signed up right then and there. Some common questions that I get is, what if I'm already strapped financially and then I'm having to take on another expense every single month? If you're already strapped financially, that means you need it even more, because what if, God forbid, something happens, then you're going to be even more strapped without it, with all those extra expenses that we talked about. So if you're strapped financially, make a way in your budget. I have hundreds of thousands. I have over 1,000 videos on this channel on budgeting and saving money and growing your income, all of that. So find ways to make it work in your budget. I guarantee that if I looked at your budget, I could find $50 to $100 a month for you to be able to afford this. I guarantee that we can move things around to make it so you could afford this for your family, for your kids, for your spouse. So if you're strapped financially, you need life insurance even more. Now, what if you have a condition? What if you have a pre-existing condition or an illness? You can still get life insurance. It may be a little bit more, but the sooner that you get life insurance, the cheaper it's going to be. Now, if you're waiting 20, 30 years and your illness progresses and your age progresses, it's going to be even more. So you want to lock in that rate. When you lock in a policy, when you lock in a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 30-year policy, you're going to lock in that rate at your current stats. So say I am 35, still 35 right now, 35-year-old woman, and say I'm pregnant, so I'm not the weight that I was, but say I'm weighing about 130 pounds or whatever it is. So I am 35 years old, I weigh 130 pounds, I'm 5'5", then I'm going to lock in that rate, whatever that rate is. Say it's $50 a month, just for easy math, because I have pregnancy brain. So say it's $50 a month, and then that's a 30-year policy. Now say 30 years from now, I'm going to be 65, and I'm probably not going to be weighing 130 pounds. I'm probably going to have some health issues or different things like that. It's still going to have that same rate for you. You're still going to be only paying $50 a month. So the sooner you lock in the rate now, it's never too late, but the sooner you lock in the rate now, the cheaper it's going to be in the long term. So definitely recommend getting life insurance. Like I said, I'll have some companies down below in the description, like Lantern, Ethos. Those are all like really, really, really great companies that I highly recommend. And you can get started in just 5 minutes. No medical exam, anything like that. So let's keep the conversation going. If you want to learn side hustles that you can do from home, if you want to make that extra money from home, I have so many side hustles that you can do from home. Check out this video here. And if you want to know how to budget with an irregular income, say your spouse works on commission or has a different paycheck every month, can you still budget? Absolutely. I have a full video explaining it. Check out this video here.